July 2nd, 1964. The Civil Rights Act was signed by President Johnson. This past week, we observed the 50th anniversary of this historic legislation. I cannot say that this historic legislation was a spark that propelled the acute vision of Dr. Anna Cooke and the 11 other ladies into action. However, a few months later, on November 7, 1964, the Links Incorporated Jackson, Tennessee chapter was chartered. Now, Dr. Cooke was an informed woman who kept her thumb on the pulse of society. She did not ask the rhetorical question, who will serve? I believe Dr. Cooke understood the injustices and plight that affected our people during this period of unrest. And in her quest to find solutions, she read, and we know she researched, and decided what better way to address the issues, offer assistance and service, than for like-minded, accomplished women to come together. I also believe that she knew you could not journey God's way without encountering risk and fear. She realized that there is safety in numbers, and that your journey with God will be richer, more fulfilling, and more successful if you surround yourself with people who are committed and supportive, people who uplift communities and each other for the betterment of society. Throughout the almost 50 years the Jackson, Tennessee chapter has been in existence, we have felt the impact she has had on our chapter. She has reminded us that this organization was born out of friendship, service, and volunteerism. We have come to understand that anytime we can help somebody, we are the better for it. Serving our communities is an important part of building a brighter, better future for the next generation. The members of the Links have, as many of you have, consulted with Dr. Cooke on several occasions to seek out her wisdom and understanding, and to find information and answers. If any of our members had questions about the chapter's history, its members, or its programs, we knew she had the answers. Her superb ability for storing and retrieving information was incredible, and we valued her brilliant mind and readiness to share. Dr. Anna L. Cooke has left deep tracks in our hearts. Her vision, courage, commitment, and friendship will serve to provide for the Links Incorporated Jackson, Tennessee chapter an elevated foundation to continue her legacy of excellence, service, leadership, and grace. To God be the glory for her life and her legacy. I am thankful, humbled, and blessed to have known her for 43 years. Said in few words, friendship is a chain of gold, shaped in God's all-perfect mold. Each link a smile, a laugh, a cheer, a grip of the hand, a word of cheer. Steadfast as the ages roll, building closer soul to soul. No matter how far or heavy the load, sweet is the journey on friendship's road. Be blessed.
Dr. Anna Lee Cooke, my dear friend, one whom I have admired for many, many years. True friends are friends forever and will always care for each other. A friend will not say never, and the welcome will never end. Though it's hard to let you go, Anna, in the Father's hands I know that a lifetime's not too long to have a friendship so strong. I can describe her as I often called her Anna, with these special words. A, Anna was admired. She was deserving the highest esteem. She was always noble, a very distinguished person who meant so much to so many. She was a nurturing person, supportive and encouraging to all the people she met. She was amazing, awesome, and incredible. We came to be even closer friends as our two daughters began to grow up, and they dearly loved and still do each other. We are a family now, not just the Cookes or the Worthings, but we are a family, one big happy family. When Mavis moved to Dallas, it wasn't too long before Elsie moved. And to show you how close they are, you can stand in one driveway and look at the other driveway. Our hearts, our homes, and even the celebrations that we have had, especially during Lane College's homecoming. We would always get together and invite friends and just sit down and have old-time conversations. And not only that, we also had food. And we enjoyed each other. On my telephone answering service right now, there are 3 messages that I want to share with you. And these 3 messages were left on my answering system the day before Dr. Cooke went into the hospital. My granddaughter was having a bridal shower, and I had asked the people to respond on a certain date. The night before Dr. Cooke, Anna, as I called her, went into the hospital, I got home and I saw the light blinking, and I picked up the telephone, and the first message said, "Sally, this is Anna. I'm calling to let you know that I'll be at the shower for Maria tomorrow." And I said, "Vernon, we can put a yes by Anna's name." I played the next message, and it says, "Sally, this is Anna. Call me when you get home. I'm coming to the shower." And the final message says, "Sally, this is Anna. Call me at 427-7995. I'm coming to the shower, and I'm going to bring my caretaker with me." And Worthing said, "You better call her back." I got on the telephone and I called, and her caretaker said, "She's not feeling so good right now, Mrs. Worthing. She's laying down, taking a little rest." I said, "Well, that's fine. Just tell her when she gets up. We have her name at the top of the list to come to the shower." And I understand that the very next morning, she didn't quite make it, but she made it. She was there in spirit and in truth. And we were so happy that Anna was able to come to the shower. She might not have been there in presence, but she was present with us and the Lord. And finally, I hold a red ribbon in my hand, and this ribbon came to me right after Anna had her birthday party. And I just want to read just a little something from it. There are two hearts at the top of this ribbon, and it says, "And now abide faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love." Comes from 1 Corinthians 13th chapter and the 13th verse. And it says, "Thank you for sharing this special birthday celebration with us. We love you, Anna L. Cooke and family." That was the type of person Anna was. She loved people. She loved going places. She loved to be around people. She loved to celebrate. And she loved, and she was a friend to all. That's the feeling that my friend and I had for each other. And we often share these times by going places, especially to Mary High School reunions, Lane College celebration, and everything that Anna could get to. She would call us, "John and Sally, I'll be ready when you come by. Pick me up." And she would be, and she loved people, and she loved to go places. May God bless the family, and may God bless Anna, because I know she's up there right now celebrating, telling me where she's going to want me to pick her up next.
Now we have expressions by Mrs. Kay Winters, former student, Mrs. Carol Johnson, goddaughter, Mrs. Barbara B. Rose, goddaughter, Mr. Stephen T. Brooks II, and the family. And remember, 2 minutes, please.
Good afternoon. This is Anna Louise Cooke, the lady that I have known since 9th grade at Old Mirror High School on Tangier Street. If there are any persons here from the Old Mirror High School who we love so, would you stand at this time? Thank you. We have been friends ever since. She took care of me and kept me out of trouble at Mary High School. She was firm but fair. The reason I said it is that if I kind of strayed a little bit at home, my mother would say, "Call Miss Cooke on me," and that would make me be okay. She was instrumental in my matriculating to Tennessee State University. We have been friends ever since. She was the only librarian that I knew who knew everything about everybody, both local and nationally. She was like a mother to me. We talked often. After her illness, we talked every 2 or 3 weeks. When she was in rehab in Memphis, I would go to see her almost every day. She would often tell me how much she appreciated me calling me and checking me. She never failed to ask me about my 3 granddaughters, and I never failed to ask her about Elsie, who was a devoted and dedicated daughter. She was a very loving and caring person. Mrs. Cooke loved children, and she loved Lane College. She would keep me informed about what was going on in Jackson. She was a devoted writer. She would write things in the Memphis Tri-State Thunder that I would read, and she would send me information that was in the Jackson Sun. She would always attend the dinners at the class in 1956 when we had our meetings. And we had about 20 of those. Well, you see, Mrs. Cooke and I were joined together. She attended and graduated from St. Joseph Catholic School, and so did I and my 6 siblings. She will be missed by me and by all those who have spoken so very highly of her. I appreciate the time with her, and I will never forget her. Thank you very much.
Reverend Brown, Bishop Reddick, Bishop Graves, distinguished ministers, President Voss, family and friends. I'm so very honored to join the chorus of voices here today to celebrate and honor the legacy of our dear Anna Lee Cooke. Today, I speak on behalf of the entire Rawls family, Baltimore and Cynthia Ross Bond, who are here today, Andrea Bond Johnson and Dwight Johnson, and family from Brownsville, my sister Margaret Ross Brown, who's here today, and all of my family and siblings from Michigan, California, Illinois, and Minnesota, who loved and became a part of Anna Cooke's extended family and fan club. Anna and my mother, Willie Bell May Rawls, were both born in 1923. They were in the same class at Lane College. They both pledged Delta together, and for a short time, Aunt Anna worked in Brownsville where our family lived. They remained forever lifelong friends. We all considered Aunt Anna one of our godmothers. I was also her namesake. My mother gave me my middle name, Ann, in her honor. And President Voss, that sure made me think I was special. My mother was an only child, but we grew up in a large family of 9 children. And I remember asking my mother once if she had been lonely. She replied, "My dearest friends like Aunt Anna are like sisters." Aunt Anna loved family, Lane College, her sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Links, her Link sisters, her church, Bishop Graves, her books, her writing, and helping others. Aunt Anna was forever promoting Lane College, and our family was close and made special connections to Lane. My dear cousin Cynthia has served on the Lane College board, her son Alan Bond, and my sister Margaret graduated from Lane. My brother George and his daughter also attended Lane College. My niece, Dr. Tara Rawls Jenkins from Chicago, was the 1993 Miss Bronze West Tennessee, and she reflected recently to me that Aunt Anna was always such a gracious and thoughtful encourager, always sending a card, collecting and sending newspaper clippings of any mention of our family. In reflecting on her experiences at Lane College and Aunt Anna's influence on her life, my sister Margaret, who was president of Beta Chi chapter when Aunt Anna served as advisor, stated she led young Laneite sorors with authority, yet grace and elegance. She was a leader and teacher, and her smile and joyful spirit were contagious. She possessed an aura that made young Laneite women want to emulate and adopt her qualities. Aunt Anna and her late husband, Professor James A. Cooke, were pivotal and positive influences to all the students, young women and men, that walked the halls of Lane College. She was a writer and historian, and when I visited her in her home just last month, she was so excited to be releasing her new book that captures her own personal library of learning, as she once again taught me history. In the words of my daughter-in-law, Dr. Candace Kerr Johnson, also a Miss Bronze West Tennessee recipient, and the daughter of the late Ora and Noe Terra of here in Jackson, offered these words: Anna Cooke was a woman of class, kindness, and concern for the common person. She was a kindler of inspiration, and with her creative calling, she took great care to cast light on the overlooked and the underappreciated stories of our community. This was the core of her historian heart, to compassionately and fervently recount our lives, our experiences, and courageously tell our truths. Now, after decades of creating and curating countless articles, writings, and clippings about our community, we pause to crown her the quintessential keeper of our chronicles. Anna Cooke, thank you for your observant spirit, your discerning eye, and for the time and resources you personally invested to capture keystone moments of our community, especially for our youth. Because of your gift, we can see our collective selves, our challenges, our changes, our growth, our expansion. You helped us to hold on to hope. You helped us to perceive and celebrate our greatness. And now to us, whom she touched, as we celebrate the complete life, character, and contributions of Anna Cooke, we charge each of us to personally commit to using our own unique way of keeping the chronicles of our families. And to the gifted writers of our communities, we call you to continue the Anna Cooke tradition of keeping our collective chronicles, keep them with vigilance, excellence, beauty, and constancy, as did Aunt Anna. Elsie, we so thank you for sharing your mother with us. We can already see that she has instilled in you the same passion, drive, and commitment to service that were the hallmarks of how she lived every single day of her life. When your life has touched so many, over so many miles and so many generations, when you have earned many credentials, received numerous accolades and awards from community colleges, churches, and sororities for exceptional service, when you have never ever stopped giving, teaching, nurturing, and helping others, there's simply not adequate words to truly honor Aunt Anna's good and remarkable work. Today, we know that Aunt Anna is being welcomed and honored in heaven, but in so many, many ways, she lives on eternally in the hearts and minds of all of us and all of those she touched. Thou hast made us for thyself, O God, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. May her soul and all the souls of the faithful departed to the mercy of God rest in peace.
In 1960, she was our neighbor. We had just moved to Jackson, Tennessee, right across the street. She was our neighbor. She allowed me to go over and visit. My mother would allow us to visit back and forth. That's when I started calling her Godmother Anna. And that continued. And the foundation that she helped my parents lay for me has continued since 1960. I also want to share that there are many young women that she mentored, whether they called her godmother or not, or Aunt Anna or not. There are just so many young women that felt like they could talk to her or ask her a question, and she's always there. And even in our own family, I could talk about the Atwaters of the last 200 years, the Beasleys of Carroll County, the Malones of Shelby County, the Rosses of Los Angeles County. Godmother Anna touched so many lives, and in such a positive and fun way that people who would say, well, how's your godmother doing? Because they got to know her through me. And Elsie became the godmother of our children, my children, so it's continued. And I know that, that what she's giving to my daughter and to my son is exactly what your mom gave to me. And I thank you for that, Elsie. I also want to share that over the years, your mom shared so many wonderful stories with me. And I'm sure they're in the chronicle that Carol mentioned. And I can hardly wait to read some of those stories. But I think the most influential part that she had with me was in 1969. I was at Jackson High School, 1969. It was a pretty tough time in Jackson. And I didn't want to participate in the Miss Bronze pageant. But between my mother and Godmother Anna, I ended up participating, ended up winning, ended up being Miss Congeniality, and that set me on a path that I felt like I could accomplish anything. I did not have a happy time at Jackson High School, but I think back to the Miss Bronze pageant and the encouragement that I got from your mother. That sent me sailing. And throughout my 25 years as a professional, I could call your mom and she'd give me the best advice, his advice, and I knew I would be fine. The last comments I want to make include the poems. I don't know if you guys received poems from her, but she would write these wonderful poems. And the one that I remembered the most, and I'm sorry I don't have it with me, was when President Obama was elected. And that was such a wonderful time for her. I mean, a great time for all of us. And she sent me this poem, and I read it at my church, and people said, who is this person that writes? Well, that's my godmother, Anna. And they met her through Elsie as she would come and visit us. So I thank you, Elsie, for that. I thank you, Elsie, for sharing your mother with us for so many years. She'd call me sometimes. She said, I haven't talked to Elsie today. She would talk to me, cheer me up. And I thank you for that, Elsie. Her legacy is going to live on through you. Her legacy is going to live on through the Deltas, through the Links, through Wayne College, through this wonderful St. Paul Church, her legacy will live on because we will all remember Dr. Anna Cooke, my godmother, the virtuous woman. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to share another story about Anna too while I'm up here. Real funny, quick one. When I was coming home from college, this was in June. I came home, I went to grandma's house, and it was just over there talking. And day went by, she said, "You never go see Anna yet?" I said, "Nah, let me go here, run over there." So I went to Anna's, and she was over there. She needed me to run to get her some medicine and some groceries. Did that for her, we came back, and it was about time for me to head on out. She said, "Steve, anything I have to do for you?" And anybody know me, know I like to crack a joke. I said, "Yeah, and matter of fact, let me hold $100. She was tickled, she started giggling, and she said, "No, boy, you let me hold $100. So that's one thing I'm always remember about Anna, just having a good feeling leaving her house. And you know that you only had to give her 5 minutes of your time and you could make it happen. So, on behalf of the family, I wrote a poem entitled "For My Dear Anna." And I'd like to read to you guys this in the programs. If we painted you a picture, the colors would be bright, vibrant, and bold. If we wrote you a book, it will surely be the greatest story ever told. If we sang you a song, the tune would fill our hearts with peace and grace, but no celebration can express how much we will miss your face. If we built you a statue that reached to the heavens or a majestic waterfall, it will still not amount to the joy that you gave us all. If we titled 1,000 streets with the honor of your name, we will still need 1,000 more, or it will surely be a shame. Because, see, respect has no form, nobility has no shape, love has no image, and wisdom cannot be faked. You deserve what you live for and sacrifice what you earn. What you had is what we are all living for and what we all yearn. A gift that not can be given, an honor that we cannot provide. For your reward is in heaven and a man can now stand beside. So we will remember you by keeping our heads held high and your teachings deep within. And we will always remember to smile in a world full of sin. We will take on any challenge with faith and agreeing for our dear cousin Anna until we meet again. Love and miss you.
My heart just charged to my head and to my heart. It's a selection that will be led by my son Jordan and Sister Holmes works so hard to get the musicians and the choir to prepare to sing this song. So now at this time we have a selection. If I can help somebody.
Thank you, Reverend. Anyone else can get me and you will play. This is a request of hers. Hi, Elsie. I'm very honored and humbled that you've asked me to do this. It's not quite been a year since Mama went to glory, and I'm still in that way, so I'm feeling you, as they say. So you bear with me and pray with me as I practice this for you. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody
Acknowledgements. I want to say to Elsie and the family, it's been an honor to have known your mom, and for the past, like the past year, Elsie, we've been working hard together on her new book, and I appreciate you giving that opportunity. I'm going to read a couple of cards. There have been so many given to the family in remembrance of Dr. Anna Cooke. This one reads in deepest sympathy. May you find comfort in the memories that are yours to cherish always, and strength in the companionship of those who share your loss. God is with you. Trust him at all times. Pour out your heart before him. Sometimes there isn't any answers, but God sees each tear, feels each hurt, understands our need to ask why. And because of his love for us, we can trust that in time, his comforting peace will come. Thinking of you with sympathy and caring. The family would like to say, kindness, concern, and thoughtfulness are Christian virtues expressed in many ways by sincere friends. The family of Anna Lee Cooke is grateful for the kind expressions shown during the illness and passing of our loved one. You have made our sorrow much easier to bear. May God continue to bless each of you. Heartfelt appreciation and gratitude are extended to our in-home caregivers, Mrs. Lily Buchanan, Mrs. Betty Coleman, Mrs. Verona Curry, Mrs. Barbara Ford, Mrs. Virginia Mackey, Mrs. Willie Mae Perry, and Mrs. Carrie Woods, who became an extension of our family in care and service to Anna. We also thank the medical professionals who cared for Anna, especially Dr. Lewis Cunningham and Dr. Earl Stewart.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Cooke family, we want to thank God for loaning his angel to us for the time that he did. Without him, we wouldn't be here today to celebrate the life and legacy of my precious, precious Auntie Anna, Dr. Anna Lee Cooke. We are so grateful, as Ms. Wilson said, to everyone who has just outpoured their love and kindness to us. We're so very grateful. To all the family and friends in the Jackson, Tennessee community and beyond who have hugged, cried, called, prayed, we want to thank you so very much. And for looking after my sweet cousin, Elsie Cooke Holmes, who will need us, and all of us will need you today and beyond. We thank you, and we pray that the Lord will bless each and every one of you in an abundant way, in his time, and in his way.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to echo my thanks. I cannot thank you enough. And I also want to mention, when we talked about the caregivers, there was one additional, should have been on the program, Brandy McCain. She wasn't there day to day, but she's been caring for my mother in her own special way for years as well. So she's been there as well, so thank you. When my father died 15 years ago, I paid tribute to him in his homegoing service. And that was actually at the old St. Paul, on the street there. I remember telling my mom that she had better listen to the tribute because I didn't know if I'd be able to do the same for her. I didn't know if I'd be able to keep it together to do it. But her spirit's allowing me, as well as my dad, who always told me to be strong, to do it. Because as close as I am to my mother, I knew I had to do the same for her. How do I pay tribute to someone who is so small in stature, but larger than life, even in death? someone who's accomplished so much, but to me, someone who is simply the best mommy in the whole world. I'm the only daughter, y'all know that by now though, of Dr. Anna Louise Lee Cooke and Professor James Cooke. Yes, I'm named after my mom. We had the same middle name. We've been so close my entire life. For as long as I can remember, I was definitely a mommy's girl. I loved my daddy, but wanted to follow my mom everywhere she went. No one could have asked for more loving parents. Mom said she didn't spoil me, but I knew I was important, and most of the time felt like I was the most important thing to both of my parents. Mommy took me to so many places with her since I was an only child. Church, weddings, funerals, sorority events, the symphony, plays, games with Dad, list goes on and on. And I got indignant when she wouldn't take me. Some places not appropriate for children, so I had to stay home occasionally. We went on trips. For example, the Delta Convention when I was 8 years old. We rode the train to California. It took 3 days. But she had the patience to put up with a very talkative 8-year-old. And I pretty much talked all the way, I think, except for when we were asleep. I told her later in life that she had a lot of patience. And she always told me how she loved her daughter, how she always thanked God for having a daughter. We were road dogs in the biggest sense of the word. We traveled together when I was a child and as an adult. We went to conventions, visited family, went to Broadway plays, Radio City. How many wonderful memories that I have. She was a wonderful mother as I was growing up, bringing the right guidance as a little girl, teenager, young adult, and older adult as well. Over the years, she was not only my mother, but we were so close as friends as well. I'm so thankful for having the time with my mom as a child for a good part of my adult life, to be able to be her friend, as well as to have her as my mother, and for me to be her daughter. And it has been so wonderful to hear all the wonderful things that everyone else has said. All of you are giving me strength right now as well. I came to visit often. I came to make sure that she was comfortable. I came to just spend time with her. Folks kept saying, did you move back? I'm glad I mentioned that way, but not quite. I looked to get her out when I was home, because she always said she didn't want to be a burden on anyone, but she would get that extra burst of energy, probably because I pushed her a little, either because she wanted to go, and I know a lot of times just to make me happy. I had thought about life without my mom because she was 91, and I knew she couldn't last forever, but I wanted her here with me forever because of all of our closeness. I knew that all of the memories, all of the things she instilled with me will continue to be with me. She will continue to live through me. She'll continue to live through all of us. I am her legacy. When she called me to say that she wasn't feeling well, that was Wednesday before last, I changed my plans from going to Tampa to get to Jackson. Got here as quickly as I could that Thursday. I stopped on the way in with my drive from the airport, and it was just a happenstance stop to get water. But I found this card that I wanted to share that I read to my mom on Thursday night before she passed on Saturday. And she loved the card, and we had this wonderful time together. But the card reads, "My special gift in life is having you as my mother. I have shared a relationship with you since the day I was born. The bond between us is enormous, and though sometimes it's not perfect, it's something I can always count on when it feels as if everything else is falling apart. I'm so glad that God in His infinite wisdom allowed me to belong to you, to be your child and your friend. More than anything, I am so thankful to have been given the honor to love you and call you my mother. I wish she was with me now, but I am glad she's not suffering anymore. I'm thankful she's in her heavenly home. And though she's not right here beside us, she is beside us, and she'll continue to live within all of us. She showed me that so many times, even this week. She really has. There was never a greater love between mother and daughter than the love that I shared with my mom. God bless you. I love you, Mom.
Amen.